From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew.
Hello and welcome to episode 276 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. I'm Ed Green and I'm joined today by my co-hosts Karine Kiwan, Sally Kundus and Warren Carr. And we're coming to you on Saturday the 21st of March, 2026. In this week's episode, in Android Basics, we hit on an oft debated and disputed topics, including among your crew, and that is whether or not to sideload apps. And in the app of the week, Jacob Kruger demonstrates the imaging assistant app, The Voice. And do tune in next week because we'll have Jacob and others talking about that app. Well, how is everybody? Sally, how are you?
I'm doing good here. Just want to celebrate, just want to say happy Eid for everyone observing it these days. Yesterday was the first day here and today's the second day. It's going well, lots of foods. And how are you?
I'm very well. Happy Eid. A busy week. The weather's got better. It's warmed up. We had 19 or 20 Celsius this week. So what's that? 67-ish about. So that was pretty good. Karine, how are you?
I want to say Eid Mubarak to everyone who celebrates Eid al-Fitr. And I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all mothers. Actually, today is Mother's Day here. I know that other countries or many countries don't have it at this day, but actually here it's the 21st of March. So Happy Mother's Day as well.
It's a bit cheeky because that in the UK was last Sunday, but in North America it's in May. So Katie Kins once suggested that she should get 2 Mother's Days.
Yeah, but, here in Turkey it's also on May.
Yeah, I thought 2 was a bit excessive. So she got her card last Sunday from daughter. Warren, how are you?
I'm doing good, and so we're getting better weather, like you are saying, Ed. I think probably, I think we're going to be like 59 degrees today. Yesterday, though, I think it was maybe like in the high 60s, like you're mentioning. The only difference, however, is that it was just too damn windy. Excuse my Espanol, and it just turn a good thing into not so good of a good thing. But other than that, we're doing okay. And happy Mother's Day to those of you in Lebanon. You kind of have yours different than the rest of the world. I know, as Ed says, most of the English world is like last Sunday, the second Sunday, is that of March? I don't remember, somewhere in there. For us, though, it's always in May, the second Sunday of May. So looking forward to Mother's Day, but we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you that have celebrated out there. Either it was last Sunday or today. If you're in Lebanon, be a good mama. Thank you so much for being the mamas out there. And now, the announcement segment. This is a segment dedicated to things we want you to be in the know. And now for this week's episode, here's your announcements.
Do we have any announcements this week?
Yes, indeed. I think we have an announcement, and that has to do with our second quarter open listener / developer session coming up. That would be the last Saturday of April. Of course, we'll let you know what date that would be in the by and by. But if you are listening to us, though, keep that in mind that the last Saturday of April will be our second quarter of the open listener session, and we invite you to come and join us. We'll give more information as that time draws near.
Excellent. Do join us for that, both listeners and developers. They're great sessions and a good chance for everybody to interact.
And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics.
And now we turn to our Android Basics section. And this time, it's all about sideloading. An often debated and can be quite heated topic. We were rehearsing some of those debates whilst we were preparing to record the episode. So hopefully this will be a lively discussion. So just to set the scene a little bit, I'll explain what sideloading is. Typically on your Android phone, for the vast majority of users, you are going to install your apps from the Google Play Store. However, for a variety of reasons, some app developers choose not to put their apps on the Google Play Store. So simply speaking, sideloading is installing an app on your Android device that is not from the Google Play Store. You might have received it from a friend. You might have gone to another app depository. There are several. And installed the app from there. So sideloading is simply an app that is installed from outside the Play Store. So I think we'll start off by maybe going around the phones, the recording devices. Sally, what's your view on sideloading?
Well, sideloading is well, in my opinion, it is like that's what I do from time to time for trying out some apps which are now on Play Store, especially looking at other stores. Android is such a thing that you can find other app stores or other distributions where apps are available. For example, you find apps on GitHub, like open source repositories, or you can find F-Droid store where you will need to sideload. Though it's a store, you will still need to sideload through it. So I do that from time to time. So if you know what you're doing, if you know what it's all about, if you know what app that can do, what permissions it's all about, sideloading is, I think, okay for me. But it depends on what you want to install, what permissions the app gets. Again, I want to say that, I want to repeat that. But for me, it works. And for some circumstances, you're gonna try some apps, you just want to test those apps. It's not always Play Store. There are times you just need to sideload through different stores or directly from the developer itself.
Warren, what do you think about sideloading?
Well, talking about sideloading, I do want to mention here as a historian, the term sideloading, though, does not or did not originate because of Android. It's something that has been there even in the 90s. So the whole idea is that you're kind of trying to install something not directly coming from the internet and all of that. And so Android adopted that when we got Android in 2008. So I think it was maybe 2008, 2009 that, we adopted that term. So Android never coined the term sideloading. So I just want to throw that out there. But now talking about me as an individual, it's always like a very dark side for me. It's a kind of conflicted thing, if I may put it that way, because I'm looking at it from both sides, from the user's perspective and from Google's perspective. And it's like two worlds colliding. It's like what creates a hurricane or creates a tornado. You got a hot air and a cold air colliding, and the result is oftentimes not very good. And so for me, it's just, I'm kind of torn. And so I err on the side of not choosing to sideload. I will sideload if my life depends on that app, so to speak. For example, let's say there's an app that's from the Play Store, but it's not in my region, for example, and it's in Ed's or Karin or Sally's neck of the wood, and they installed it from the Play Store there in their country, and I could tell Sally or Karin or Ed, say, hey, send me that extract and send me that APK, because it's my life depends on it, right? So I would sideload that. But outside of that, really, it's just...
Excuse me, Warren, but this is no longer possible with many apps, actually. So you will die if this is the case, because actually Google is making it harder and harder to, or even almost impossible, because I tried recently with that video creator, one from OpenAI. I forgot the name now. And I installed it because it's not available here. And I couldn't open it because Google Play Store just showed me the message. This doesn't come from Play Store, so you have to install it from Play Store. And of course, it's not available in my region. So, and I just tried to search, and there was no simple fix for that. And I think it will be the same for many other apps. So, if an app is in the Play Store, if an app is on the Play Store, and you try to install an APK of the app, and assuming, of course, that the app is not available in your region, so you can't do anything about it right now.
That's so bad. Okay, so for me, I'm just not necessarily into sideloading, but like I said earlier, though, I'm trying to look at it from both viewpoints. From that viewpoint of the user wants to be able to do with their phone as they damn please, excuse my Espanol in there. So if you decide to go out and have a bonfire and burn all your phones, for example, no one is going to tell you don't do it. Although some environmentalists will say, hey, you're polluting the environment, or whatever the case may be. So someone may give you grief on account of that. But then outside of that, I think you should be able to do whatever you want to do with your phone. You want to sideload an APK, that's up to you. And yet in the same breath, though, for me, I see it from Google's viewpoint. I don't want to let you guys sideload, because that's what had given Android a black eye, because anyone can put whatever they want in an APK, and someone who doesn't really take the time to check to see if there's anything in there or whatever. And I know someone may argue, oh yeah, you got the APK mirror or F-Droid or whatever. Well, yeah, I hear that, but I just frankly, I don't know. It's for me, it's a hard thing, and I don't think there's a winner in this. Google goes too hard, and you're offending people. And then if you let it too loose, then you're just encouraging horse thieving. That's my take on it.
Karine, what's your view on sideloading?
So it's no secret when we say that sideloading was something special that we used to talk about when we were just saying to iPhone users what they could earn, or what they could get when they use Android compared to iOS. So when iOS was without any capability to sideload, Android was just the free, or the more like. It was so easy to sideload on Android. So that was something that we used to talk about and to praise. And I'm completely with sideloading, and I don't think that it should be restricted. I mean, okay, you should, it's fine to show that message and to ask people to allow installing APKs from unknown sources, the message that we are all used to. And to give this permission when you want to install an APK, okay, it's fine. But Google deciding what should be done and what shouldn't be done is something different. I mean, they tried. I mean, they just when they talked about the restrictions that they would enforce, how much people were unhappy about it, and the backlash it caused, and there were campaigns from people, or from projects like F-Droid and others to stop it. So and now Google, let's say that it's trying to be to strike a middle ground, or to be like in the middle. Okay, we are not going to stop sideloading completely, but we will make it harder. It's fine. But I don't think that this would stop people from using side loading for the bad things that people use side loading for. I mean, if there's something, or only something that I can say that it's bad about side loading, is the distribution of cracks. So people, it's not easy, of course, to let an app go through the Play Store and install it through the Play Store. It's kind of impossible. So people use side loading for using cracked versions of applications. This is completely unethical, completely unacceptable. And I'm with the thing that says that, okay, Google could just, if it can detect that this app is a crack, it should uninstall it completely. Yeah, in this regard, I'm completely with the freedom of Google to do whatever it wants to stop such applications. I mean, yeah, it could be something terrible if we allow Google to start dealing with applications in this way. I know that many people aren't with me in that, but I mean, there's something that should be done to stop cracks, to make using cracks harder, because currently, if we want to be just honest about it, it's so easy to grab a crack and just install it. And if Google the Play Protect gives you any warning, you can just disable it and go ahead. So this is the main problem about side loading. Other than that, side loading was always something good, and I'll keep being supportive to this. Actually, I use Jisho, and many people do. So if you are a developer, you have either to comply by the Google Play policies that are updated always, and sometimes they could just ask for or demand things that you don't want to adhere to, or actually, like, example, they don't allow accessibility services to use for recording phone calls, for example, or for other things. So actually, if I'm a developer and I want to create an app with an accessibility service to try to record calls, I can't put my app in the Play Store. So I think that developers are or have the freedom to just stay away from Play Store's policies as long as they're not doing something harmful. And, you know, as Google is the developer of the Play Store and it's the owner, so it can put its own policies. There's nothing that we can say about it. So for that reason, side loading should stay, should be always available, and Google should try just not to be that like it shouldn't interfere in such thing. I mean, it's fine if they keep the policy that they have decided, but I'm scared that eventually there will be a day that they will say, okay, we were preventing side loading completely.
So I kind of see a little fallacy there, though. You can't have it both ways. It's your phone, and someone wants to install a cracked something on their phone, and you're telling them not to do it on their phone. Isn't that part of the choice, though?
No, because I'm doing something illegal. If I go to a shop and steal items from there, can people just say, okay, it's fine, this person is doing something that they want to do, it's fine, we will not intervene?
I don't know. It's, for me, I kind of see them kind of like it's hard to tear the two apart, because, like I said, this side loading has encouraged a lot of horse thieving. That's the word I use for it, because this is why you find people pirating. It just encourages pirating, because I can get this app, pay for it, and go pirate it, decouple it, and then, make it available for people to sideload. So you see what I'm talking about? Frankly, because you open the Pandora's door here, and then it just encourages bad behavior. There's no ending, and you're not going to tell that guy you cannot install XYZ APK on their device. It's their choice.
I don't think we can say that side loading is the source of cracking. Let's dial back a little bit.
No, it is. It is. If we couldn't side load, hang on. If I could not side load an APK, then frankly, no one would be pirating anything, because what's the point? No one is going to be able to install it. So why are you going to crack it?
I agree with that. And if you ban airplanes, there'll be no air crashes. And if you ban cars, no one gets run over. So, yes, of course you could do that. But it's a specious, silly argument. And I'll tell you for why. So you may think that phones are tied to app stores. But let's just take a step back. If you've ever used Windows, there is now a Microsoft App Store. And if you're worried about sideloading, JAWS and NVDA are quote unquote sideloaded because they are installed outside the Microsoft Store. Now, are there cracks for JAWS on the internet? Yes, probably. There certainly shouldn't be. But just because you might be able to obtain a cracked version of a piece of software doesn't mean that it should be possible to install it. It doesn't mean that all software should need to be installed from the Microsoft Store. That's nonsense. You should only install software that you have the license to install and use. Clearly, there are bad actors who will do that, but that doesn't mean you shut down all external ways of installing software, just as banning planes to stop air crashes is a very, very silly thing to do.
Well, Ed, I hear what you are saying, and it makes sense, yet in the same breath, it doesn't make sense. And so here's why. My thinking is that Microsoft was never born on the internet. It wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years ago that Microsoft started this whole idea of I'm going to have my own app store or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's a little bit longer than that. But Android, on the other hand, of course, started on the on the internet. Not even Apple had that. Android was the very first one that came with a store. Apple didn't have that. So you can see where this is going and how this doesn't compute yet. But in the same breath, frankly, I see where you're coming from. And like I said, it's just a bad situation. It just, whichever way you look at it, you got to look at both viewpoints, and both to me are valid. You cannot, let's be honest, you cannot deny people as to what they want to do with their devices. And yet in the same breath, you cannot totally blame Google for trying to protect its name. And so it's a very difficult thing. And this new implementation that they have of the advanced flow that they have implemented, whereby you got to enable a developer mode and wait for 24 hours. The one thing that Google was saying that I kind of find rather funny is that I don't think that there's anyone, a bad guy out there sitting out there and guiding people, telling them, oh no, ignore this message and ignore that. Google was using that. I don't buy that for a minute. I don't think that there's anyone out there that's trying to sideload something and then it's not working, and then the guy that created it's trying to guide you on the phone saying do XYZ, and hence we're going to implement this developer option to you got to enable it and wait for 24 hours. I just don't know, guys. What do you think about that? I don't buy that that notion.
Well, Warren, what you were saying about Microsoft is not really valid. Let's take what you are saying as the right thing. Okay, so this means that there shouldn't be any refinement, any improvement, any development in any software if it starts at, for example, a certain era and then things change. So it's normal for operating systems, especially those which are like popular and mainstream, to follow the developments, to evolve with the developments. So this is something so normal. Doesn't mean that if Microsoft has started at the days when there was no internet, that it should stay like that, and whereas Android that started with an app store should just be different. So we should treat them completely the same, because Android and Windows, if we don't look at app stores or anything related to that, to the full image, to the complete image, to the operating system itself, they have undergone so much advancements, so much development, so much shifts and changes to be up to date. So saying that, okay, this didn't start when the internet was there doesn't mean at all that things should be different between the two. So this is my argument about it. I'm completely with that regarding this matter.
Hold that beer, bartender. Let me ask you one question. Do you have a Microsoft account? When you sign onto your computer right now, are you signing into a Microsoft account?
Yeah, I'm signed in using the Microsoft account. Where's the problem?
You have a Microsoft account, so when you turn on your computer, you're signing into Microsoft account?
You mean to
Or you have a local account?
Actually, I have a local account, but
Why?
I signed in. Okay, it's fine. What's the point?
No, that's the point.
I got
I'm
my
making a
Microsoft
point
account
here.
Yeah.
I'm making a point here because Microsoft doesn't want us to use local accounts. Why under heaven are you using a local account?
What's the problem?
You see, you're now on my side. That's what I'm saying. Microsoft was never born on the internet. Hang on. Microsoft was never born on the internet. You remember back in those days, we used to have floppy disks. We have to sideload, and you got to install so many diskettes and all of that. No, hold that drink, bartender.
Okay.
We have to do all of this, and now Microsoft is trying to force us the same thing that Google is doing, and you guys are giving Google a bad time about it, but you want to give Microsoft a pass on this one? Give me a break.
Actually, I couldn't get the point here. Actually,
I'm using a Microsoft local account as well on my laptop, and I don't.
Why are you using a local account when Microsoft wants you to use?
I do exactly the same thing. Because I do what I want. Because I do what I want, not what Microsoft
but it's
wants.
okay for you to do that with Microsoft, but yet in the same breath, you are trying to give Google a bad time.
Are you getting the point here?
It couldn't be any clearer than what I'm saying. I'm
Well,
just saying, Microsoft that did not start on the internet is wanting to force us into this, and you guys want to give it a pass.
No, I'm saying I shouldn't be forced into anything, which is why I should be able to sideload. So I do not want to have to use my online Microsoft account to log into my laptop. This seems a nonsense thing to need to do.
The whole
so
thing,
I don't do it. But the good thing is, Microsoft lets me not do it, and that's fine. So Microsoft understands that I don't want to do it either. What's really bad about Microsoft, what's really, really bad, that everyone should be aware of, with Outlook New, I don't use it, I'm using Outlook Classic, but Outlook New requires you to route all your email through Microsoft servers. That is surely a very, very bad thing when your email service might not be connected to Microsoft at all.
I think it's a very confused area because users, we want that autonomy, we want to be able to do what we want, and yet in the same breath, these companies want to keep a tab on what we're doing. So we're such at a place that, frankly, is like, dang if I do and darn if I don't, whatever the case may be. It's a catch-22. There's got to be a balance, and I don't know that Google's solution, like I said earlier on, the argument that they used that some developer may be talking to someone on the phone saying ignore that. I don't know if anyone wants to sideload an APK and wants to contact the person and having them guiding them on the phone, try to, ignore this, ignore this. I don't know where Google came up with that from, but frankly, it's what it is. I think when it's all said and done, we can all agree to disagree or whatever, that the whole thing is convoluted. Both sides have a view, have a point.
I was going to say that I think what you need to bear in mind, and why Play Stores confuses a little bit, is you need to have a good security mindset when you're using your device. Now, Play Store is relatively safe, but it's not the case that all Play Store apps are safe. Certainly malware has been introduced through the Play Store. So I think anybody who installs any app from anywhere needs to bear in mind, is this from a reputable source? Play Store is one. Sally's mentioned a couple of others. Is it an app that's, you know, trying to do a good thing? Is it a good faith app, if you know what I mean? You know, cracks are bad. We've talked about that. So, and I worry sometimes that if you think, oh well, side loading's bad, then anything from the Play Store is automatically safe, and it just isn't. So I think when you're installing an app on any operating system, whether it's Windows, Mac, Android that you're talking about now, or iOS, you need to have the right security mindset set about, do I need this app? What does it do? Why am I installing it? And that will help in some instances and not lull you into a false sense of security about side loading and not side loading.
I want to comment on what you said. Actually, you are right about it. And there's something here. Actually, people sometimes are, they try to think when they see a warning, because currently, okay, I know that Samsung has the option to disable side loading. It's on by default on the newer One UI versions, but it's easy to just go ahead and enable the side loading. It's not a big deal, but usually people are used to the thing that, okay, we see an APK in a Telegram group, for example, or WhatsApp group, and just we go ahead and install it. So people are used to that. And yeah, many people don't at all think if this APK is safe, where does it come from, who's actually sharing it, why this person is sharing it. And sometimes many people don't know at all the source. Even the people who share the APK don't know the actual original source, because it's shared from one place to place to place and like that. So if people are forced to think, and to when they're also seeing the warning that, okay, be careful, this could be harmful, this could be dangerous. Yeah, some people would just think and say, okay, should I install this? And then they'll have the 24 hours time. So this, I think, could help lower the risks for some people, especially those people who just take such warnings seriously, even if they don't know what's the problem or what's the whole thing is about. So I think this could help in that scenario. And I think that it will eventually lower the side loading and makes side loading for like a set of people. Usually people who know what they are doing and people who are using cracks. So yeah, I don't think that this will stop cracks at all. And one point I was going to talk about is the people that we forget about, and they are affected by any issue related to side loading. Those people are people in areas where there are protests, where governments are trying to crack down on people's rights, to censor their freedoms. So sometimes such APKs are distributed locally among people. For example, for communication, to distribute news related to protests, uprisings, and such. So such developers have let's say it's a legit, completely legit right to distribute APKs, sometimes in groups, local groups. So when Google wants from every developer to just upload the ID, and they want people to verify, the developers to verify their identity there. This could lead to security threats to those people. This could lead to problems, serious problems, because such people can't reveal their identity, even if they are revealing it to Google itself. So this could lead to a serious problem for those people. could sometimes make them think twice before developing an application and creating it, because they don't want to put themselves under more threats. So for that reason, sideloading is something really genuinely necessary, because we should always remember that there are those people who are just facing troubles, who are fighting sometimes dictatorships, who are having serious troubles, and who are in very problematic situations and circumstances that sometimes we don't even think about. So yeah, this is one point that we should always remember about when we talk about sideloading, and when Google decides, for example, to make sideloading tied to developer verification.
Talking about the developer authentication and all of that, we want to mention here in passing, however, that this may be taking effect like in August, I think the 26th or the 27th. And there are 4 countries that would start to see that. I think those countries are Indonesia, Thailand, Brazil, and I think Singapore. I think those are those 4 countries. And so let's keep an eye on that, guys. It's a very good debate. And like I said, I see the point from both points. They're both valid, because if it's your device, like I said, if you want to go out and burn it, you're totally allowed to burn your device, except, of course, some environmentalists would tell you, no, you can't. But other than that, it's my device. I want to install whatever I want to install on it. I think it should be left to me to install that thing on my device. And yet, in the same breath, I can see where Google is coming from, because, we hear people say Android is not good because it's full of malware and blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, the bigger percentage of the malware comes from side loaders. And we cannot deny that.
One thing I want to add regarding this one is that if you decide to enable sideloading after waiting for 1 day, you can either enable it for 1 week or enable it forever. So it's your choice at that moment to decide the time. And something else, if you use ADB, and you are familiar with ADB and you know how to install applications using ADB commands, you don't have to wait the 1 day when you want to install an APK. This is something good, because sometimes we just need to install an application quickly, and we don't want to wait that time to start to install the app. So you can just go ahead and use ADB, which is something great that Google didn't stop that.
This is why ADB is good, especially for those of you got a Samsung device and you want to install Google's TalkBack on there and disable that. So yeah, you still use that power if you don't want to wait, but you got to know what you're doing. So this is for those that are enthusiasts and know what they're doing. They could bypass all of that. And so that's the freedom that we still have there in Android that is not taken away, while it is still being made difficult for the newbies to do this. Yet those who know what they're doing still have those freedoms intact. So when it's all said and done, after all the brouhaha has cooled down and dust have settled, we still have freedom on Android.
Yeah, I wonder how many freedoms you have to give up in order to be free, personally. But a couple of questions for Kareem. So the ADB command, is that to install an individual app to circumvent the 24-hour thing, or can you use ADB to turn off the 24-hour thing totally?
As far as I know, it's only for installing applications. So if you want to install an app without enabling sideloading, for example, you can just go ahead and install the app. I don't think that there's an ADB command to let you stop the whole thing related to the whole procedure related to starting developer mode and waiting for the 24 hours until they end and then go for installation. I don't think that this is possible.
the whole idea is like, say you got that APK that you want to install, but you don't want to go through that process of enabling developer whatever and wait for 24 hours. You can then in turn, being the impatient person that you are, Ed, and you want to do it right now. I'm just kidding with you, bro. But whoever doesn't want to wait, then you could just use that ADV. So the whole idea is to be able to install it right here and now instead of waiting for 24 hours. But it has nothing to do with saying that's going to prevent or making it possible for me to install any other APK from now on without the process. So if you don't want to use that developer thing and wait for the 24-hour, and if you know how to do ADV, anytime you want to install that APK, you just visit that ADV and get the installation going. That's the whole idea.
Well, the point is that usually people who use ADB are advanced enough to know what they are doing. So they have to enable developer options. They have to enable debugging, either wireless debugging or USB debugging, and connect the devices. So usually those people know what they are doing. I know that because of TalkBack trouble here and the drama of TalkBack. Some people are using ADB to install Google's TalkBack and uninstall to install Google's TalkBack and uninstall Samsung's one without even knowing what they are doing sometimes. But this is something completely different. They don't, if we look at it, if we want to be honest about it, those people shouldn't need or shouldn't be required to deal with ADB at all. But this is the case with Samsung, and guides are already so much popular to the point that people are doing this easily. But usually a person who's using ADB is already knowing what he's doing.
And the other thing is, after the 24 hours, do we know if you just rerun the APK you tried to install, or does it require you to do something different? Does a little notification pop up and take you somewhere else, or does it just mean that you can run the APK?
Did they talk about that? I don't think that. Did they talk about the details here?
No, there's not much details, but like you said earlier, Karine, once you enable that, you could have it for 7 days, or you could say from now on, keep it that way. So that's what that is.
Yeah, but like after the first 24 hours, like literally what happens? Do we know what the workflow is? Like, I get that you can change it.
Yeah, well, until, because right now that hasn't been implemented, so we can't speculate on what happens, but we'll wait and see. We're almost April, or what am I saying? August is a few months away from here, and it seems like the implementation is not going to be like at once. Like I said, it's going to be starting with those 4 countries before it gets to everybody and all of that. So we'll see how that goes. But I think, like we've been saying, these things are still going to be there where we could install whatever we want. It's just a little bit more of a process. And I think, though, when you look at it, it's probably a good thing. And yet, in the same breath, it may not be a good thing for the people that are not in the know. But then, thank God for the internet, you can Google that. So we go back to Google. You can Google how to sideload that with the implementation taking place, and it'll guide you to how to go about enabling that developer options to get what you want and wait for those 24 hours.
Yes, I think it's difficult. I mean, I don't mind some sort of check on your installation. That's sort of fine. I struggle to see how a 24-hour block in this digital world is a good thing for anybody. There must be better implementation ways. But let's see. Like, it's nonsense. Like, to me, it's utter nonsense. And I don't mind a check. I don't mind an authorization. Like, but this seems a ridiculous authorization to me. Let's see what happens. But
yeah, so I think in the void of leaving everything blocked, they have to come to some kind of an agreement or whatever. But really, like we said, when it's all said and done, it's your device. You want to do whatever you want to do with it. It's up to you. So it's just a very touchy area. But like I said, when it's all said and done, we still have those freedoms, even though those freedoms are kind of a little bit convoluted right now, most especially for those that are not very familiar. But you and I are talking about these things because we know what we're talking about, or we know the process. Like I've always said, it's only the Android enthusiasts that do this type of things, or know how to go about, developer options or whatever. The average Joe doesn't care. Let's be honest with ourselves. They just want their phone and take their pictures and call everything good. And if they want to install something, they go to the Play Store. But it's for those of us that want to go the extra, that we don't want those freedoms taken away. And I'm glad Google has left them in place, even though they're a little bit complicated, but we are up to the task. So I think when it's all said and done, we're good.
You say convoluted, I say severely constrained. I think it is the Android enthusiasts. But also, it's as Karine says, it's people in extremis in other environments that we're not living in, that don't actually have a choice and need this flexibility because, problems arise, as she discussed earlier. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens, don't we?
Said something sad. People will just go to the Play Store. The average Joe will just go to the Play Store and install apps. No, it's not the case actually, because average Joe will be just in a group. Nobody knows what that group is, and then many APKs are distributed there, and this person is used to tapping install whenever they see an APK. I know there are people who install the APK just for the sake of installing, without knowing actually what does it do. So usually. Yeah, this is the case sometimes. So it's different than other things that we can say that they are complicated. No, actually, the thing with Android, and I said it before. It was usually the uncomplicated thing to just find an APK in a group, or there are groups with thousands of members, and then you press install and just you go for something so simple to enable. It's a checkbox, and then you enable side-loading, and it's done. So this is the case, and I think, as I said before, it will eventually make things harder for those people, and it will make some people just stop installing APKs, and maybe this is the only good thing about it. If those people just stop installing those harmful APKs without even knowing what they are doing actually.
And especially those that are side-loading cracks. If this minimizes cracks, I'm all for that. Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week.
And now we move to our App of the Week section, where Jacob Kruger demonstrates the voice app for Android.
Augmented reality for the blind? There is an app for that, the VOIC for Android. Hi, this is a form of introduction with a short demo afterwards. The software, the VOIC for Android. You spell it like voice, but the three middle letters, camel case says OIC. And in the past I've been using it for quite a few years, since the Nokia days, before developer Peter Mayer ported it to Android, and it was actually one of the initial reasons why I chose Android as my smartphone platform, for various reasons, but I've been using it for a while. And for example, among other things, when I did my motorcycle ride around a racetrack in 2018, I was also using it then with a VR headset. and it allowed me to correct my lines on the straights at times before my sighted companion even mentioned that I should. But anyway, here is the description of the Play Store, and to find it you just search for the single concatenated word Seeing with Sound.
About this app. Augmented reality for the blind: see with your ears. The voice for Android maps live camera views the soundscapes, offering augmented reality and unprecedented visual detail for blind through sensory substitution and computer vision. Also includes live talking OCR, a talking color identifier, talking compass, talking face detector, and a talking GPS locator. How does it work? The voice uses pitch for height and loudness for brightness in 1 second. Left to right scans of any view cone on a rising bright line sounds as a rising tone. A bright spot as a beep. A bright filled rectangle as a noise burst. A vertical grid as a rhythm. Best used with stereo headphones for the most immersive experience and most detailed auditory resolution. Why is the voice free? Because our foremost goal is to make a real change by lowering barriers to use as much as we can.
Anyway, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this recording, etc. now is that besides using it sort of standalone on your Android handset, which I've been doing for a little while with a small Android handset strapped to the back of my one hand, besides the primary device at times, I've also recently gotten hold of a set of camera sunglasses that can attach to other devices as a standard driverless USB webcam. And that means I can connect it to my Android handset, and working through an additional piece of software called USB Camera, either the free version or the pro version. It allows me to then stream the video input or the camera input to the VOIC, among other things, because it lets me then work hands-free with my phone backed away in my pocket, for example, or in a belt or wherever. And I can literally look around while wearing the glasses and pick up things like that. For other platforms, there is also a web page hosted version at seeingthesound.com/webvoice/webvoice.htm. But I'm now going to launch the Android version to show you a couple of minor things.
The voice for Android. Landscape. Back.
Please connect stereo headphones.
The voice 2.78 battle.
Toggle mute.
Main screen.
First thing there, around about the middle of the screen, I found toggle mute, just to turn it off for now. And we're now going to show you a couple of small things on the main screen. There are some options. You more or less explore the screen with your finger. You don't really swipe because it's not going to find everything, but there's a couple of things like color filtering, detect colors, etc. But I'm not going to go into too much detail there. Main thing I want to show you is some of the options here. But yeah, on the main part of the screen, sort of in the middle, just below center,
Toggle mute.
toggle mute would let you turn soundscapes on or off. And right down in the bottom, a couple of other places on the screen, but right down in the bottom middle,
Toggle mute. Options.
options, and that's what we want to go in here. There are various other ways. You can use voice commands. On the bottom left, there's a voice command button.
Say command.
Say command. And you can use that to toggle things like edge detection, noise filtering, or ask it where am I, and that sort of thing. But these are things you'd have to explore yourself. There's quite a lot here, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Let's go into the options now.
Options. Options.
The voice for Android. Unmute. Enlist.
The first option will always be the last thing you've changed. I'm going to go through here and I'll just mention some of them. Let's see, but it's a menu that pops up and you sometimes need to scroll with 2 fingers, etc. to find all the options, but I'm just going to explain some of them.
Unmute. Say color names.
Say color names, that literally identifies colors.
Say object names.
Low-level offline object recognition.
Color filter.
Color filter that you can specifically switch it to only react to certain colors.
Negative video.
Negative video for dark or negative video.
Zoom by 2.
Zoom, you can zoom in, zoom by 2, zoom by 4.
Edge detection.
It's edge detection, which makes it focus on outlines.
No image noise filter.
And I have it set to image noise filter because it cleans up the input slightly, but that would toggle it off again.
Contrast.
Contrast, just contrast levels.
Audio volume.
Audio volume that you can adjust with the volume rocker.
Snapshot resolution.
Snapshots, because you can get to save snapshots. You can use it for photography. There are actually guys like Pranav Lal that use it for photography.
Language.
You can choose your language. That's literally the interface language.
Speech rate.
Speech rate, obvious. Camera, this one is quite important. There's, for example, camera 1 would be your standard back camera, and there's a couple others in there, but camera option number 4 lets you select the IP camera, which is the streaming camera, and below that there's a text box where you enter the URL to pick up the stream from. And with these USB, UVC compliant webcams, it would generally be something like http://localhost:8081/video, which is port 8081/video, and that is what I use to pick up the stream from these camera sunglasses.
Other settings.
Other settings let you adjust things like whether you want the soundscapes, whether you want musical soundscapes, whether you want it to launch automatically when you power up your phone or your handset or whatever. And there's a couple other options in there, like enabling text recognition, because it can do low-level OCR. If you left that turned on, might mention shop names or things like that to you as you went past them.
Online training manual.
Online training manual.
Disable touch until exit.
And disable touch until exit puts in place a form of touch blocking so that you could leave it in your pocket with the screen left turned on and wouldn't interfere, and all that would happen would stay running and you wouldn't have normal touch interaction to cause interference until you exited and then relaunched it. So the next thing that's going to come up now will be a small demo that I recorded outside. And for out and about, I would generally wear a multi-pocket jacket, and I would generally just carry my phone in the one pocket with a cable running up to the glasses. And I do also plan to probably look for a wireless portable power pack, because unfortunately this can put a bit of a load on the CPU and the battery, etc. at times, but that's to be expected. This is just a very quick little demo to show you some real-world usage, if you want to call it that. I am actually staying outside the house in the garden. I already have the VIC running with the camera glasses connected. And I'm just going to unlock the screen now.
15:3 landscape unlocked. The voice 2.78 dash augmented reality for the blind. Window the voice 2.78 dash augmented reality for the blind.
Looking at the house now.
2.78 dash augmented reality.
Lock the screen, which turns it off, mutes it if you want to call it that.
15:3 move up. Move up. Landscape unlocked. The voice 2.78 dash augmented reality
Yeah,
for the
I'm
blind.
now turning my head slightly to the right. And you'll hear when the details change as I find the dark door to enter the house. Yeah, that line, that is the door line. Just to give you an idea. You know, there's two sides to the door, left and right. Turn back towards the main part of the house. Then slowly. Have a look, and let's try a trick now. We'll quickly mute this.
Toggle mute.
Do one other thing.
Accessibility volume set to 100%.
Because we're not specifically running Google Gemini Live at the moment, I'm quickly going to turn on camera color preview.
Toggle color preview on.
Alright, this means while I'm now looking, let's look at the detail again. And let's ask talkback to describe it to us.
Screen description. The screen shows a surveillance camera view of an outdoor patio area with brick walls and a tiled floor. There is a table with chairs visible in the background. At the top of the screen, on the right side, is the word options. In horizontal pages, the voice 2.7.
Is that what? See over there?
Portrait. Nova launcher.
That was literally just me using a trick after turning on camera color preview, which literally renders the imagery on screen, that I then use my trick with MacroDroid to shake the phone or the handset and have talkback to its described full screen functionality, which gave me a preview or a low-level description of this camera scene. Now let's fire up Gemini Live screen share.
My mail. Be my art. Share screen with live. Share your screen with Google. When you're cancel. Share screen. Button.
Okay, he's now running in the background.
Nova settings. Hold a colon. The voice for Android. Landscape.
Please turn your phone to landscape. Toggle mute.
Can you tell me what's showing on screen now?
I can see a view of a brick wall with 2 windows, a paved patio, and some green grass in the foreground. There's also a shadow stretching across the grass and patio.
Has the picture changed now?
Yes, the picture has changed. It now shows a bit more to the right, revealing a patio with a pillar, a potted plants, and a table with chairs.
Thank you. All I did there was turn my head to the right to pick up the view of the patio, the stoop, whatever you want to call it, without moving much else and without moving the handset, and then asked him to re-describe the scene, and you heard the difference there.
And if you tune into next week's episode, we'll actually have the developer Peter, Jacob, and another user of the app. So do join us next week for that.
All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us.
Well, we're all done for this week. John, how can people get in touch with us?
To contact us, simply send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. If you'd prefer, you can leave a voicemail by calling +1 307 202 9797. You can join our mailing list by sending a blank email to blindandroidusers+subscribe@groups.io. You can join our Facebook and Telegram groups or subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links in the podcast show notes or YouTube video description. And you can find all of this information and more at our website, blindandroidusers.com.
Well, that's it, folks. Say bye-bye to the nice people.
Bye, everybody, and thanks for listening to us, and keep the horse thieves out of your phone, and have a great week.
Have a great week and happy side loading. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Enjoy side loading.
Side load, side load. It's how you
And a
get
bunch
each
of horse
forward side load. There we go. A little rendition of Cockles and Mussels done slightly differently. But I hope you get the point. Bye. See you next week.
Oh, boy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.